I was talking to someone today, and she said I have her permission to share this. Though she said I should talk about it. She watched she watches my videos on YouTube, and she asked me to share the conversation we had today, which she found very interesting. I thought it was just normal, right? She said that she was talking to me about her friend, right? She was talking about I asked about her friend, her best friend, and she said, "Oh, we're not on speaking terms right now." And I said, "Oh, what, is there anything? What's going on?" She's like, "Oh, I just realized that she's not my best friend." So what does that really mean? Like, is it because your values don't align? Did she do something that made you realize that you shouldn't be friends with her at all? She said, "No, that's not why. That this whole time that she thought they were best friends, that she realized that her best friend had another best friend, a different best friend. So essentially, to me, you are my best friend, but to you, somebody else is your best friend, not me. So in some way, I feel offended because my whole idea and this is where we had the argument. She was telling me that my understanding of best friend, me who's doing this video, it's different from everybody else's understanding of best friend. To her, a best friend is your best friend. We are mutually best friends to each other. So I'm number one on your call list, and you're number one on my call list. If anything happens to me in the moment, you're the first person I think of calling to tell that what's going on. If there's something I can't tell anybody else, with my parents, you're the one I will tell. Or my husband, you're the one I will call and tell. You know where the bodies are buried. You know all my deepest secrets. Do you know what I mean? I know that you're my safe space and you won't judge me. That's the reason why we're best friends in the first place. Plus, we share a lot of values together, right? So essentially, this whole time that I was doing that to you, putting you on the pedestal as my number one for everything, right? I just found out recently that actually you had that relationship with someone else, right? So they were your number one on your call. You told them everything. And the way she found out was because something happened to her best friend and she found out outside about it. So she came to accost her best friend and say, "Hang on, this was important enough, and how come I don't know about it?" Just on the entitlement mentality that if I'm your best friend, I mean, I'm surprised that I'm hearing this from outside and I didn't hear it from you. Is it true? She's like, "Oh, it's true, but I don't recall you telling me." Yes, because actually, you know what I mean? Her friend didn't give an excuse. It was just a matter of, no, actually, almost like, well, you're not one of the people I would have told, right? I told people who should know. And it threw her off because she's like, "What do you mean you told people who should know? Then who am I?" And she's like, "Yeah, well, there are certain things I don't tell you. There's some things I tell you." She's like, "No, but I tell you everything. So where is this? You know what I mean? Like, how am I thinking in my head that you know what I mean? I've been carrying you this whole time as I'm telling you all this because you tell me everything too, right? And we don't have secrets. And then I find out that actually there are things you don't tell me that you tell other people. So actually they are closer to you." And the best friend said, "Actually, I never told you that we are like best friends. I never told you you were my best friend, though. Do you know what I mean? You're my close friend, and I value that we share a lot of things. That things I actually do tell you too that I don't tell anyone else. But you're my close friend in certain things. There are things I just won't come to you about. Like the things about job, I won't come to you about, right? Not because you don't know it, but you're not my professional colleague. You're not my mentor. You're not somebody who I'd come and ask you your opinion on should I go left or right in the office or I'm having a problem with my boss. I won't come to you for that. Same way that I never thought you came to me with everything. I thought that it was just like the things that we share, right? Oh, we like an actress on TV or do you know what I mean? Or some girly thing that, da 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 da. You don't want to talk, whisper, whisper, whisper. Do you know what I'm saying? Like there are certain things that you're my closest friend on. I promise there are things that only you know about, right? But you're not my best friend in terms of I tell you everything. And she's like, "No, but that's you're misunderstanding what a best friend is. If I say you're my best friend, the reason why I call you best is because I assume that it's mutual." She said, "No, that's not what best friend is. Best friend is individual to the person." And I agree with the other person. And I told her, I said, "Yes, my understanding of best friend has never been that if I call anybody my best friend, right? I don't mean that I'm their own best friend, though. I've always thought that best friend meant because our checklists are different. We grew up very differently. The things that are important to me are maybe not the things that are priority to you. So my top 10 things that a person who is the closest to me should have are different from what yours would have. You grew up in a polygamous home, for instance. You don't value faithfulness like that. Your dad and your mom, there were three other wives. What's faithful inside? Do you know what I mean? Your dad is not faithful to your mom like that now, because otherwise he would have two other wives. Do you know what I mean? And your mom was fine with it, and you grew up with it, and you never thought that it has to be me and you versus the world. It was always, well, me and you share what we share, but doesn't mean I'm not available to share with the rest of the world whatever else I want to share. I don't know if that makes sense. Just from that value perspective alone, right? Then why do I think that we who came from very different backgrounds, I value loyalty, I value truthfulness, I value, you know what I mean? But why do I think that you value those things? You don't. But there are certain things that obviously we are close on, shared interests, right? And that's what I always thought best friends were. So on certain things, me and whoever I call my best friend, we share those things, right? So let's say I'm doing crime, and that's the kind of crime he does as well. And so I can't tell anybody else about the crime. So I only tell him about that crime. And whenever he's about to do the crime as well, he tells me, then we share notes, how did I do the crime yesterday? And this is what I'm doing. Because that particular area of his life is where I'm the best to know, right? Who else will he tell about a crime except the person who does the same kind of crime? If that makes sense. But there are areas that I don't deal with, right? So if he's straight, for instance, and I'm gay, or vice versa, then what's he coming to tell me about his wife's problems about, like, you know what I mean? Problems he has with females, for instance. I'm like, what do you want me to do about it? Or why do I come to tell you problems I have with the guys I'm dating? What do I want to do about it? Do you know what I mean? It's like, so we're not best friends on all things. You know what I'm saying? So this was the argument we kept having. She kept saying, no, actually, that I was wrong. That if the person is my best friend, there's no part of my life that should be hidden from a best friend. My best friend should actually know that A, you're not into women or you're not into men. B, this is what you've done, this is what you do. C, there's no part of your life I don't know about, which is the reason why I'm best friends with you. And I'm best friends with you because every day I wake up, I feel like I know you end to end, right? It's not just because of the little area that you told me. No, I can vouch for you, which is what she was saying. My best friend is somebody I can vouch for. And if I can vouch for you, it means that I know everything I should know. And I said, yes, but you're saying what I'm saying. Everything you should know. There's nothing fundamental that you shouldn't know about. So if they come to you and they say, can I do Yahoo, for instance, you should be able to say no, because in all our conversations now, she's like, yes, but that's the problem. I was saying, right, if I say that I've never discussed Yahoo with you, so why are you vouching for me that I cannot do Yahoo? Do you get my point? If someone can say, can he do Yahoo? You should be able to say, I don't know because we never discussed it. We're not best friends in that area. If someone come and say, oh, is he faithful to the person he's dating? That's all we discuss. You can say, yes, actually, I know he doesn't cheat. Oh, no, that's the one thing he doesn't do. Or does he like telling, does he tell lies, or does he like lying to him? Oh, no, no, no. No, that's his, no, he doesn't. That's the one thing he cannot stand is lies, right? Do you get? But those are the areas that me and you have shared. Now vouch for those ones. Don't try to vouch for me for everything, because in a matter of fact, that's why you get disappointed. Human beings generally, why are you vouching for anybody? Much less somebody that doesn't live with you every day. Even somebody that lives with you every day, in 5 minutes that they went to the barber and cut their hair, they've already had sex with somebody else before they came back. But you're thinking to yourself, oh, but he was under the roof with me and I just left 5 minutes to go and barb his hair. That 5 minutes when he did the thing that he thought he could never do. Why are you vouching for anybody at all? Much less a best friend who doesn't even live with you. And for hours in a day, you don't know what they are doing, right? They could text you and say they're doing something else, but they're not doing. Like, my point is, just because I want to be able to vouch for you is why I need to know everything about your life. That's why you have to be my best friend and tell me everything. That's a flawed argument. You shouldn't even vouch for anybody that much, is what I'm saying, even your own sibling or twin. Anyway, this is the argument we kept having. Is your best friend, are you your best friend's best friend? Was the question. She says she found out that she was not her best friend's best friend, so now she's angry. So now they're not friends at all again, because I thought I knew everything about you, and as long as I don't know one thing about you, and you don't carry me on the same pedestal. I'm not number one on your call sheet like you are on my own call sheet. Then we cannot use the word best. Right? At most we're close friends, at most we're friends, whatever it is. But we're not best friends. You have to be number one on my list as I'm number one on your list. It's just two of us. Chick, 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 chick. I'm like, no, but that's a lover. That's a partner. That's a spouse. That's this one, right? Faithfulness, loyalty. A spouse or partner should never doubt that if you ever have to choose on any topic, you're going to choose them first. I must never doubt it. Never doubt it. If something happens to them, I'm like, no, no, no. If it's a burning building, he will save me first. If I don't like the person he's playing with, he will leave that person because I don't like them. Doesn't make sense. That's a spouse. That's a partner. What a friend. A friend? No, I don't think so. Even a best friend? No, I don't think so. If I tell my best friend now that I don't like the other best friend that he has, his own best friend, and I'm asking him to choose or her to choose, what am I expecting to happen? You know what I mean? And she's like, no, then that's why they should choose me. I said, no, you're talking love. Oh. That's lovers. Oh. That's not best friends. Best friends is not like that. best friends, you're my best friend for these things, right? So we like law, we studied together, we childhood together, we grew together. You know what I mean? I know that part is fine. We're best friends in that area, right? But on the things that I'm not best friends with you, we don't align on, and I don't know you that well, and I'm not interested in knowing, right? Or you don't think I should know about, you're allowed to have other people closer to you in those areas who are your best friends in those areas. In any event, at a certain age, after the age of 30, why do you have best friends? Which was where we ended the argument. I kept saying, but why do you want best friends? Like, what's this need to give somebody a title when they're not lovers? They're not, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's only when you're lovers, you need a title. Like, who am I to you? But otherwise, you're just my friend. You're closer to me in certain areas, and that's good enough. Do you know what I mean? Like, why do you have to be my be all and end all, one friend in the whole world, better than all the other friends? Why do you need a position and a title? I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, so I thought this was interesting. We had a conversation. She was like, no, I think you need to do a video about it. I'm like, I'm tired of doing videos. Nobody watches. She's like, no, do a video about it. Because I think people's understanding of best friend is very different. The same way we're arguing about it. What do you, who's watching now, what do you think? In your mind, do you have a best friend, first of all? Especially if you're older, if you're like 25 and above, do you have a best friend? And in your head, what do you really think that best friend is? Do you think you're the person's best friend? So are they telling you everything? Or will you be shocked and disappointed to find out that there are people closer to them than you are, even though they are closest to you, if that makes sense? Let me know what you think about it. And thank you for watching as always. Uh, Cheers.